What's up, everybody? This is Andre Arroyo, and it's my channel, What's Andre's Mind. And I have a lot on my mind because this has been a very, I must say, interesting week of wrestling. And I'm going to start off with Wrestlemania 41, also promoted as Wrestlemania Vegas, which took place on Saturday, April 19th and Sunday, April 20th, 2025 at Allegiant Stadium in Paradise, Nevada. This was the second WrestleMania to take place in the Las Vegas area after WrestleMania 9 in 1993, which was held at Caesars Palace. This was the first WrestleMania to live stream on Netflix in most international markets, and this was the first WrestleMania held during Easter weekend. What I mean by international markets and all that, this is part of the first year of that 10-year deal that WWE have with Netflix. But out here in the States, the contracts with Peacock hasn't quite expired yet. So out here in the States, we gotta wait another year before everything is put on Netflix. But for now, we're just biding our time. The card had a total of 14 matches, 7 between each night. Attendance for night 1, 57,037, while the attendance for night 2 was 60,343. Combined attendance, 117,380,000. Before I go on to the show, I want to mention the 2025 Hall of Fame, which took place on April 18th, 2025 in Winchester, Nevada, at the Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, in its Blue Live Theater the night before WrestleMania 41. The ceremony was headlined by the induction of Paul Triple H Levesque, which made him a two-time inductee after being inducted in 2019 as part of D Generation X. Also was inducted was Michelle McCool, Lex Luger, and the Natural Disasters, the team of John Tenta, aka Earthquake, and Fred Ottman, aka Typhoon. It also featured the inaugural Immortal Moment recipient, a new category allowing historical matches to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, given to Bret Hip and Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin from WrestleMania 13. Trust me, it's really worth it. Watch that match. It is amazing. This made Hart the first ever 3-time inductee, having previously been inducted for his solo career in 2006 and as part of the Hart Foundation in 2019 with Jim the Anvil Neidhart. And this also made Austin a 2-time inductee after his own induction in 2019. The ceremony also had the return of the Legacy Wing, which last had inductees in 2021. The recipients were announced prior to the event, with Kamala, Dory Funk Sr., and Ivan Koloff revealed as the 3 posthumous Legacy inductees for the 2025. Before I talk about the show, WWE, part of TKO Group Holdings, announced its acquisition of leading Mexican lucha libre promotion AAA in partnership with Mexico-based sports and entertainment holding company Philippe. The announcement was made in Las Vegas during the WrestleMania 41 Saturday Countdown show with WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque, Philippe's Chairman Alberto Faza, AAA's Marcela Pena, and Doyen Roldan Pena, alongside talent including Rey Mysterio, Stephanie Vanquier, and El Hijo del Vikingo. Additionally, Worlds Collide was announced to take place at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles on Saturday, June 7th, featuring the superstars of WWE and AAA. Now, I gotta say that was huge to hear that about AAA being acquired by WWE. Wow, I didn't hear anything about it. I don't think no one really did until this WrestleMania came up, and that was huge to actually hear WWE buying out another company. First it was Evolve, now it's AAA. They tried the European market with NXT UK and the rumored NXT Europe if it ever gets off the ground. My thing is about it, we just have to wait and see how this partnership works out. But honestly, it'd be better that they shouldn't monopolize the wrestling talent, rather just let it be on its own. But we just have to wait and see what happens. As for the show, the English commentators for both shows were Michael Cole, Pat McAfee, and Wade Barrett. The Spanish commentators were Marcelo Rodriguez and Jerry Soto. Country singer Jelly Roll performed God Bless America to kick off night 1. Then Triple H will come out to hype up the crowd for Saturday, while pop singer Eva Max performed the Star Spangled Banner to kick off night 2. Then Stephanie McMahon would hype up the crowd for Sunday's night. And to kick off WrestleMania 41, and this is a hell of a way to kick things off, it was the first of 4 championship matches of night 1 for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. The Ring General Gunther defended the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against main event Jey Uso. How do we get here? Well, on Saturday night's main event, Jey Uso challenged Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, but came up short. The following week, Uso had won the Men's Royal Rumble match at the Royal Rumble, earning a World Championship match of his choice at WrestleMania 41. While he didn't make an official decision, Uso confronted Gunther on the following Raw, where Gunther stated that Uso should choose SmackDown's World Champion because he had already defeated Uso and instead deserved to defend the title against someone like John Cena. After making an appearance on that week's SmackDown, Uso opened the February 10th episode of Raw, and he was immediately attacked by Gunther. This convinced Uso to challenge Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 41, and here we go. During Uso's entrance in a cross-promotion for the 2025 video game Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, this jockey, Salvatore Ganazzi, opened for Jey Uso's entrance, which also had involvement with Vegas Raiderettes cheerleading squad. As Uso went to perform a top rope move, Gunther tossed him down and performed a dropkick and a powerbomb from near fall. Uso countered a powerbomb and performed an Uso splash on Gunther for a near fall. Gunther grabbed the title belt and faked leaving the match, but struck Uso with it when Uso attempted a suicide dive behind the referee's back. Gunther then followed up with an amazing top rope splash for a near fall. Gunther attempted another powerbomb, but Uso countered and performed his own powerbomb. Uso followed up here with 3 Uso splashes and applied a sleeper on Gunther, who, in a shocking move, actually submitted. I mean, I expected Uso to win, but having Gunther tap out was really shocking and a bit off guard. I'm going to explain about that a little bit. At 16 minutes 30 seconds, Jey Uso wins his first heavyweight title, and as Jey celebrated in the ring with his brother, Jimmy Uso embraced with his brother Jey, and the two embraced each other. I give the match 4.5 out of 5. This was a great way to open up WrestleMania 41. And I know some people are going to say that Jey Uso only got the title because he got a chant and the crowd is eating up his stuff. But you know what? I think it was right time, do something new with the title, have Jey Uso, because he was so over. And I know everyone keeps saying, oh, he's just a super kick guy, does some splashes, that's about it. No, I think he earned it. In the second match, in the second of 4 championship matches for the World Tag Team Championship, the War Raiders, Eric and Ivar, defended the World Tag Team Championship against the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. After removing Big E from the New Day on the December 2nd, 2024 episode of Raw, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods turned heel for the first time in over a decade and set the sights on the World Tag Team Championship, held by the War Raiders. During the title match between the two teams on the April 7th episode, Woods attempted to hit Eric with a steel chair. However, the referee saw Eric inadvertently hit Woods with a chair instead, and the New Day won by DQ. On April 11th, Raw General Manager Adam Pearce announced that the War Raiders would defend the World Tag Team Championship against the New Day in a rematch at WrestleMania 41. Now here's some facts for the New Day at WrestleMania. While they are one of the most successful tag teams in WWE, the win-loss record for both Kingston and Woods is not as great as you think it would. Because for Kingston, he's 2-9 at WrestleMania, and Woods is an unfortunate 0-3. Kingston performed Trouble in Paradise on Eric. Ivar performed a Doomsday Moonsault on Woods, but Kingston broke up the pin. In the end, Kingston and Woods pinned Ivar following the midnight hour in 9 minutes 15 seconds to win their record 5th tag team title. And believe it or not, this marks the first team's win at a WrestleMania. 2 out of 5 for me. The problem with this match is, while it was okay, there was hardly any build to it, and the crowd just wasn't interested. Although the New Day finally get their WrestleMania win, it was pretty lackluster. After that, it was a grudge match between Jade Cargill and Naomi. So, for the first time in WrestleMania's 41-year history, we have a women's match. It's not for a women's title. It is no crazy stipulation. It's just a regular one-on-one match between two very talented ladies that just want to wrestle each other. The November 22nd, 2024 episode of SmackDown, Jade Cargill was found attacked by an unknown assailant in the parking lot and was ruled unable to compete for the future. During Cargill's absence, Naomi volunteered to replace Cargill as one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions along Bianca Belair. Naomi and Belair also launched their own investigation into the attack on Cargill. While the assumption was that Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez attacked Cargill, they agreed to defend the titles against him on the February 24th, 2025 episode of Raw, where they ended up losing the titles. Belair and Naomi then qualified for the Women's Elimination Chamber. However, before the match began, Cargill made her return and attacked Naomi, who was deemed medically unable to compete the match. On the following episode of SmackDown, Naomi revealed that she was Cargill's attacker and regretted not doing so sooner, turning heel for the first time since 2016. Belair would walk out on Naomi, ending their partnership, and Cargill and Naomi continuously attacked each other, which led Nick Aldis to schedule a match between them at WrestleMania 41. I want to talk about both women's entrances. Naomi's entrance had a caution tape vibe with phrases like "too nice," "third wheel," and "overlooked" to go with a caution tape wrestling gear, while meteorologist Jim Cantor from the Weather Channel was part of Jay Cargill's entrance. Cargill used mostly power moves in this match, including catching Naomi midair and performing a power slam for a near fall. As Cargill scaled the ropes, Naomi performed a running bulldog and followed up with a split-legged moonsault. Naomi applied a submission hold on Cargill. However, Cargill used her power to lift Naomi into a pretty amazing powerbomb and put Naomi in her finisher Jaded to win the match at 9 minutes and 20 seconds. I give the match 4 out of 5. It may be a little high for some, but I think Cargill and Naomi had some good moments in this match. I think there were a couple of spots where Cargill looked like she was kind of like waiting for Naomi to do her next spot so they can continue with the match. But otherwise, this was actually a really good match. In the third of 4 championship matches of the night for the WWE United States Championship, LA Knight defended the WWE United States Championship against Jacob Fatu. Several wrestlers stated their intentions to challenge Knight for the title, including the Bloodline's Jacob Fatu. On the April 4th episode, Fatu defeated Strowman in a last man standing match, earning a US title match against Knight at WrestleMania 41. Fatu came out with Solo Sikoa with a wolf type mask, which was pretty entertaining, while Knight came into the entrance driving a Maserati. Well, someone driving a Maserati with him. During most of the match, Fatu completely dominated. At the end of the match, Knight countered a double jump top rope moonsault and performed a modified BFT only to get a near fall. Fatu then performed a top rope Samoan drop and 2 double jump top rope moonsaults to win the title at 10 minutes 40 seconds in dominant fashion. After the match, Hall of Famer Haku came to ringside to congratulate Fatu. I guess another 4 out of 5. This, I wouldn't say it was a complete squash match, but it showed how dominant Fatu really is and how creatively booked well he is. As for LA Knight, this loss doesn't hurt him. I mean, but you kind of like, well, where does he go now? Because he's been a 2-time US champion. Where direction does it go? He kind of needs to be in the World Heavyweight title contender. Next match was supposed to be between Rey Mysterio and El Grande Americano. Wink, wink. The whole world knows it's Chad Gable. However, doing a 6-man tag on Friday Night SmackDown between Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and Rey Fenix versus Chad Gable and the Creed Brothers, Mysterio suffered an actual injury, which turned out to be a torn groin. During the countdown, Mysterio announced he would not be medically cleared and replaced by Rey Fenix. How we get to this point? Well, throughout late 2024 to late 2025, Chad Gable went on a losing streak against several luchadors. Gable took a sabbatical from WWE to solve his Lucha Libre problems. On the March 10th episode of Raw, an unidentified luchador with an American-style mask resembling Gable's faction, American Made, cost the LWO a tag team match. Gable denied that he was the luchador in question, of course. The masked wrestler named El Grande Luchador defeated Lee in his debut on the March 24th episode. 2 weeks later, Americano and American Made members, the Creed Brothers, defeated the LWO in a 6-man tag after Ivy Nile put a piece of metal in Americano's mask to use against Lee. Before I talk about the match, personally, as great as it was for Rey Fenix to be in the spot, this really should have gone to Dragon Lee, because Dragon Lee has been in the WWE for a couple years now, and he's yet to have a WrestleMania match. And nothing against Rey Fenix. I like Rey Fenix in his work, but he only been in WWE for a couple weeks, and his WrestleMania match should have been next year. Now, before the match even started, Americano went to El Hijo Vikingo, who was part of the AAA organization. Americano, of course, he slapped Vikingo, and Vikingo kicks him in the head, which started the match. Rey Fenix was able to show off his unorthodox style against Americano, keeping him off balance for a while. During the match, Americano performed a top rope moonsault senton for a near fall. Americano slid a metal plate into his mask and let it perform a headbutt on Fenix in midair. Americano then performed a top rope headbutt to win the match at 7 minutes 55 seconds. Americano wins his debut match. And technically, since we all know it's Chad Gable technically wins his debut match at WrestleMania. 3 out of 5 for me. Actually, both Fenix and Gable, very talented wrestlers. Rey Mysterio, he's already a Hall of Famer. It just really sucked that Mysterio was forced to back out of this match because of that torn groin. In the penultimate match, it was the 4th and final title match for night 1, as it was for the WWE Women's Championship, as Tiffany Stratton defended the WWE Women's Championship match against Charlotte Flair. At the Royal Rumble, after returning to the ring for over a year from knee surgery, Charlotte Flair won the Women's Royal Rumble match, earning a World Championship match of her choice at WrestleMania 41. Flair would appear on the following episodes of Raw, NXT, and SmackDown to confront each brand's respective champions before finally choosing to challenge Tiffany Stratton for the SmackDown's Women's Championship at WrestleMania 41. Well, the build was kind of so-so, and one build which kind of, I'm gonna say, has a mixed reaction. There was that one promo, yes, that one promo between Stratton and Flair, where Flair was getting hounded by the fans every time she tried to talk. She did not prepare for the fans booing her so much, and Stratton also, and since both were kind of been thrown off by the fans and they kind of forgot their promo work, Stratton just brought up Flair's divorces because everything went way off script. So this build between these two was not, I'm gonna say it was not very good. It was kind of in the middle. But a lot of people thought that Stratton was just was actually stand up to Flair because Flair kind of gets her way in matches, and she could talk wherever she wants. And I think the problem is Flair got really caught thinking that she could just come in, say woo, and talk. I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing wrong with Charlotte Flair. She's an amazing athlete. The problem is she just kind of comes in and gets what she wants, whatever she feels like, and that's the attitude I'm getting. But here's the thing about that situation. If you're being booked as someone who kind of gets what they want anytime, what they want, when they want, how they want it, anytime they want to, when really this is a time where you could be building up stars, building up rivalries, no fan's gonna care if how talented you are, or how much work you put in, or what your private life is. Because if you're kind of thinking about yourself and not about the business, none of that matters, because that's all gonna be pushed aside. They're gonna look at that one thing, and that's just my opinion. Tiffany Stratton's entrance, and this one was pretty funny, was her in a Barbie box between two other Barbie boxes that all three Tiffany's move around and pose like the actual Barbies. And if you guessed it, the whole Barbie entrance was made by Mattel. So I expect a Tiffany Stratton Barbie doll by the end of this year. As for the match, well, you be the judge. During the match, Flair performed a sit-out powerbomb on Stratton for a near fall. Flair applied the figure 4 leg lock, but couldn't quite lock it in because Stratton, earlier in the match, had attacked Flair's knee, which prevented her from even putting on the figure 4 leg lock. Stratton attempted the prettiest moonsault ever. Flair countered and rolled up Stratton for a near fall. Flair performed a top rope natural selection, which was not very good. I mean, she couldn't quite hook Stratton's head, but she did perform it. At the end of the match, Stratton countered a spear from Flair. She performed a really bad rolling senton. Charlotte Flair kind of sandbagged her a bit. She performed the prettiest moonsault ever to retain the WWE Women's title at 19 minutes 5 seconds. The more I think about how this match went, the more I wanted to change the way I thought. I give the match 3.5 out of 5. It was fine, but there were some clunky moments. And for a match for Tiffany Stratton, it wasn't bad. I just think this whole build just was not good. It's just, you know, I just think there were some issues with Stratton and Flair, but you know, there's always he says, she says. But this match is fine. I think it's kind of in the middle. Now, with 6 matches in the books, we have come to the main event of night 1. As Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk, who was accompanied by Paul Heyman, face each other in a triple threat match. So how the hell did we get to this point with these 3 main event night 1? This goes way back to 2023. CM Punk made his shocking return at the end of Survivor Series War Games in November 2023, and Seth Rollins immediately targeted him. However, plans were changed because shortly after coming back to WWE, CM Punk was able to compete for several months after tearing his tricep at the 2024 Royal Rumble. Punk was able to return. In November, Punk joined Reigns' team as the 5th member of that year's Survivor Series War Games, thanks to Paul Heyman, with Heyman owing Punk a favor for agreeing to the match, which of course they won. Punk became the target of Rollins once again due to Rollins' hatred of both Reigns and Punk. This will culminate in a match on Raw's Netflix premiere in which Punk defeated Rollins in an amazing match that you really need to see. At the 2025 Royal Rumble, Punk eliminated both Reigns and Rollins before he was eliminated. The 3 brawled at ringside where Rollins performed a 2-footed stomp at Reigns, which he was unable to compete for the next few weeks. Punk also eliminated Rollins from the men's elimination chamber. At the following elimination, Rollins performed a stomp on Punk, costing him the match. On the following episode of Raw, Punk spoke about his failure to compete in the WrestleMania main event before brawling with Rollins. They then faced each other the following week in a steel cage match, which Rollins won after Reigns came back from injury, pulled him out of the cage, attacked him as revenge at the Royal Rumble. Then, enraged by Heyman tending to Punk in the ring, Reigns also attacked Punk. After a brawl between the 3 men on the March 21st episode of SmackDown, a triple threat match was scheduled for WrestleMania 41. During the contract signing the following week, Heyman announced that the match would main event WrestleMania. While grateful for finally competing in the main event of WrestleMania, Punk stated it was not the favor he was owed from Heyman. On the April 4th episode of SmackDown, Punk revealed his favor, which was that Heyman would be in his corner at WrestleMania. On the episode of Raw on April 7th, Rollins confronted and later assaulted Heyman. This brought up Punk and ignited a brawl between Rollins and Punk, where Rollins got the upper hand. While Heyman was saying to Punk, Rollins teased a stomp on Heyman, but stopped midway, stating that Heyman now owed him a favor. So, that's how we got here. A lot of favors, a couple of setbacks, a lot of brawling, a lot of fighting. So we now have 3 of the top stars of this generation in a huge main event for night 1 of WrestleMania. The entrances for each 3, very creative. Seth Rollins came out with a flamethrower to burn it down on the stage. He came out in a black robe, used a flamethrower to burn down the stage. When it goes black, he comes out to a white outfit. Roman Reigns comes down to the ramp, and as he's coming down, the mini screens during the ramp showed all the members of the Samoan dynasty. As for CM Punk, Living Colour played the song Cult of Personality for the 2nd time at WrestleMania. And in a really cool moment, Corey Glover, the lead singer, took a selfie with Punk while performing. During the match, Punk performed a DDT on Reigns and Rollins at the same time. Punk performed an elbow drop on Rollins. Reigns performed a Superman punch on Punk for a 2 count. Punk and Reigns countered the spear and GTS respectively, and Punk applied the Anaconda Vice on Reigns. Rollins broke it up with a frog splash for a near fall. Reigns performed a spear on Punk and Rollins. Reigns attempted the spear, but Rollins countered it into a really awesome pedigree and followed it up with a stomp for a near fall. Reigns performed a spear on Punk, and Punk performed a GTS on Reigns for a near fall. Rollins performed a pedigree on Punk for a near fall. Rollins tried to convince Reigns to team up as to take out Punk. They teased a shield powerbomb on Punk before Reigns attacked Rollins and performed a solo powerbomb on Punk through the announce table before doing the same on Rollins through another announce table. Inside the ring, Reigns performed a spear on Rollins for a near fall. Punk applied the Anaconda Vice on Reigns, but Rollins returned and applied the sharpshooter on Punk. Reigns applied the guillotine choke on Rollins, who made it to his feet. Punk performed the stomp on Reigns and the GTS on Rollins for another near fall. Punk hit a GTS on Rollins, followed by Reigns performing a spear on Punk which was followed by Rollins rebounding off the ropes, hitting a stomp on Reigns, taking everyone out. While everyone's out, Heyman grabbed a steel chair, and after deciding who to give it to, either Punk or Reigns, he decided to give it to his best friend Punk. However, in a shocking move, Heyman betrayed Punk with a low blow and decided to give the chair to Reigns. He repeatedly struck Punk with the chair. Heyman gets Reigns' attention and reminds him about payback for ending the Shield. Heyman turned on Reigns in another shocking move with a low blow and handed the chair to Rollins. Rollins strikes Reigns with a chair and pinned him following the stomp to win the match at 32 minutes 55 seconds. 5 out of 5. What a crazy match and what a crazier ending this was. This match had everything. You know, you had near falls, you had everyone pulling out the best shit. You had Heyman being stuck in a situation. Who does he decide with? Who and why? And a part of me kind of knew Heyman was going to betray someone, but never John about Rollins. In the first night of night 2, it was the first of 4 championship matches as Io Sky defended the Women's World Championship against Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley in a triple threat match. So I'm gonna get here. Throughout February, qualifying matches were held to determine the participants for the Women's Elimination Chamber match, with the winner earning a match for Raw's Women's World Championship at WrestleMania 41. During Io Sky's qualifying match, the then reigning World Champion Rhea Ripley attacked Sky's opponent, unintentionally causing a disqualification. Due to this, Ripley rewarded Sky with a title match, which was scheduled for the Elimination Chamber on the March 3rd episode of Raw. At Elimination Chamber, SmackDown's Bianca Belair won the match, while Sky, in a shocking move, defeated Ripley through the contract signing on March 17th episode. However, Ripley interrupted and performed a powerbomb on Sky onto Belair, after which Ripley instead set the contract. Sky was scheduled to face Ripley on the March 31st episode of the title rematch, with Belair as a special guest referee, which ended in a double with the DQ, with Sky retaining. Raw General Manager Adam Pearce decided that Sky would defend her championship against both Belair and Ripley in a triple threat match at WrestleMania 41. Sky performed a blockbuster on Ripley and Belair at the same time, but both ended up kicking out. Sky performed a moonsault on Ripley outside the ring. Belair clotheslined Ripley out of the ring, and Sky rolled up Belair for a near fall. Belair performed 3 consecutive suplexes on Sky. Ripley pulled Belair out of the ring, and Belair slammed Sky into the barricade. Inside the ring, Ripley performed a razor's edge on Sky onto Belair and pinned Sky for a near fall. Sky performed meteors on Ripley and Belair. Sky attempted a moonsault, but Ripley was able to catch up to her. Belair then suplexed Ripley and Sky. Belair performed a 450 on Sky, but Ripley broke up the pinfall, performed a riptide on Belair for a near fall. Ripley attempted an avalanche riptide on Sky, who countered and followed up with a moonsault, but Ripley got her knees up. Belair performed the Kiss of Death, or the KOD as everyone calls it, on Sky, but Ripley broke up the pin. Ripley dominated Belair until Sky attempted to top rope Hurricane Run on Ripley, who countered and sent Skyline into the ring post, knocking her out only for attention. After Ripley and Belair counted their respective finishers, Belair whipped Ripley with her braid and performed the KOD. However, Sky performed her over the moonsault and pinned Belair to retain the title at 14 minutes 25 seconds. Not only does Io retain the title, she made history at WrestleMania as she is the first Japanese woman to win at a WrestleMania. This is a banger of a match. It is a 5 out of 5 match. You have to watch this. This kicked so much ass. All 3 women performed their asses off, and they deserve this 5 out of 5 match. Next match was a Sin City street fight as Damian Priest faced Drew McIntyre. Immediately after Drew McIntyre won the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 40, he taunted his then rival CM Punk, who was a special guest commentator for the match. Punk attacked McIntyre with his arm brace, allowing Damian Priest to successfully cash in his Money in the Bank contract on McIntyre and win the title, ending McIntyre's reign at just 5 minutes and 46 seconds. Over the next few months, Priest and McIntyre continued their feud, with Priest defeating McIntyre at Clash of Champions Scotland to retain the title. At Money in the Bank, McIntyre won the namesake match, and later on that night unsuccessfully cashed in on Priest, who would later lose the title to Gunther at SummerSlam. In January 2025, as part of WWE's transfer window, both McIntyre and Priest were transferred to the SmackDown brand. Both men competed in the Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber matches at their respective events, where Priest eliminated McIntyre in both. McIntyre attacked Priest in retaliation. After several more weeks of altercations between the two men, on April 10th, Nick Aldis made a match between Priest and McIntyre official for WrestleMania 41, which stipulated as a Sin City street fight. Damian Priest came out to Slayer guitarist Kerry King in a pretty awesome entrance after McIntyre repeatedly battered Priest with the steel steps. He would then grab his phone from his brother at ringside and take a selfie with Priest before taking to social media platform X and posting "still bored at work, LOL." McIntyre performed a Claymore kick on Priest for a near fall. McIntyre repeatedly struck Priest with a steel chair wrapped around Priest's neck. Priest avoided another Claymore kick attempt and performed a chokeslam on McIntyre for a near fall. Priest removed the protective pads from the turnbuckles before Priest performed a spinebuster on Priest. McIntyre then set up a table and attempted white noise on Priest, who encountered and performed the Razor's Edge on McIntyre through the table for a near fall. McIntyre performed a Future Shock DDT on Priest onto the steel stairs for another close fall. Priest attempted Old School on McIntyre. However, McIntyre pushed Priest on the outside through a ring of 2 tables. McIntyre was able to perform a Claymore kick on Priest through a steel chair for the win at 13 minutes 55 seconds. I give the match 4 out of 5. This is another banger of a match, and the way they did it was while they used weapons, they did it to a point where no one got seriously hurt. They just did enough damage to where, okay, this match is cool. Kudos to both men putting on a really good match that wasn't too hardcore, but it did enough to convince you that this is a great match. After that, it was the second of 4 title matches. For the WWE Intercontinental Championship, Braun Breaker defended the Intercontinental Championship against Penta, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio in a fatal 4-way. So on the February 17th episode of Raw, after Dominic Mysterio wrestled a match, Intercontinental Champion Braun Breaker accidentally attacked Mysterio, which led to a non-title match, Mysterio and Breaker, on the next episode. That match ended in DQ after Mysterio's fellow stablemates, Carlito and Finn Balor, attacked Breaker. Next episode, the Judgment Day attacked Breaker, but it was able to get the upper hand. On the March 17th episode, Mysterio discussed adding Penta to the ranks, much to the irritation of Balor. Later that night, Breaker defeated Balor to retain the IC title. After the match, Mysterio and Carlito attacked Breaker before Penta appeared to even the odds. Breaker and Penta stared each other down. The following week, Mysterio formally offered Penta a spot in the Judgment Day. Later that night, Breaker defended the title against Penta, which Breaker won by DQ after Mysterio and Carlito attacked him. After the match, Mysterio tried to have Penta attack Breaker with a chair, but instead Penta attacked Mysterio. Breaker and Penta then faced Balor and Mysterio in a tag match the next week, which they won after Breaker accidentally speared Penta. On April 7th, Raw General Manager Adam Pearce scheduled Breaker to defend the title against Balor, Mysterio, and Penta in a fatal 4-way for WrestleMania 41, and here we go. Breaker performed a military press power slam on Balor and a spear on Mysterio, only for Balor to break up the pin. Penta performed the Penta driver on Balor, only for Breaker to break up the pin. During this time, Carlito comes out during the match. Penta performed a Mexican Destroyer on Mysterio, but Carlito pulled Penta out of the ring. This caused Breaker to spear Carlito through the announce table. Balor performed a coup de grace on Breaker, but Mysterio performed a frog splash on both Breaker and Balor. Then, in a shock move, Mysterio pins Balor to become the new WWE Intercontinental Champion at 10 minutes 30 seconds. This was a great 4 corners match for the IC title. I give it 4 out of 5, not just because the match is great, but have Dominic Mysterio win the IC title was a real shocker. I think out of all 4 guys, he was the least likely person to win it, and they end up putting the title on him. We now come to another match that is unfortunately has to be changed, as this match was originally supposed to be Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. However, on the April 4th of SmackDown, Kevin Owens announced that he needed neck surgery, which would keep him on the shelf for nearly a year and would have to miss WrestleMania. Since this would be Orton's 20th WrestleMania appearance, Randy Orton made an open challenge at WrestleMania. I think with Kevin Owens trying to make it to WrestleMania, I think that's what they're trying to do. They wanted Owens to see if he can make it to WrestleMania, have this match with Randy Orton, and then he can have his surgery. But I think his neck injury got so bad that Kevin Owens just couldn't wait. First of all, I want to talk about Orton's wrestling attire. And if you've been following Orton's career like I have, it was sort of a throwback to what he first wore when he first got called up from OVW to WWE's main roster. As for Orton's opponent, well, this was revealed to be TNA World Champion Joe Hendry. And the fans really popped for this guy. And I'm going to say this right now. The second Joe Hendry's contract with TNA is going to be up, WWE is going to give him the whole world. They're going to give him a big fat contract. As for the match, well, I'm going to be honest. It was very short, and reasons why. Hendry, well, he put up some offense. This was really about Orton's 20th WrestleMania match. After he countered an RKO attempt into a fallaway slam, Joe Hendry did his pose, his famous pose that he does. And the second Hendry turned around, Orton formed an RKO out of absolutely nowhere to win the match at 3 minutes and 10 seconds. After the match, Orton picks up Hendry, he gives him his moment, and then he gives him another RKO. Then Orton sort of does his own version of Joe Hendry's posing. I give the match 3 out of 5. They did what they could with this match. Well, it was kind of a bummer that Orton's 20th WrestleMania is this. I mean, there's nothing against Joe Hendry. He's a great athlete. And I just want to talk about the partnership between WWE and TNA. It's going like I expected. I think a lot of people are like, well, we're the biggest star, but we'll give you some big time giant moments, but we gotta be bigger than you. The next match is a one-on-one feature between AJ Styles and Logan Paul. At the Royal Rumble, AJ Styles made a surprise return from injury and competed in the Royal Rumble match, only to be eliminated by Logan Paul. As part of WWE's transfer window, Styles was transferred to the Raw brand. After several weeks of confrontations, Styles challenged Paul to a match on the March 31st episode of Raw. However, Paul declined, stated that he did not fight for free, and pointed to the WrestleMania sign. After which a brawl ensued between the two men. Later that night, Adam Pearce scheduled a match between Paul and Styles at WrestleMania 41. Paul performed a Paul from Grace on Styles for a then near fall, then performed the overbomb on Styles, who reached the ropes to break the pin. Styles performed a vertical suplex on Paul for a near fall. Styles attempted a phenomenal form, but Paul countered and performed a rolling senton and a lion salt on Styles for a near fall. Paul performed a slingshot clothesline on Styles for a near fall. Paul attempted the lucky punch. Styles countered and performed a torture rack powerbomb on Paul for a near fall. Styles attempted a 450 splash, but Paul got his knees up and performed his own Styles clash on Styles, who actually reversed the move and put it on Paul himself. Afterwards, Jeff, a member of Paul's entourage, appeared with brass knucks, but Karrion Kross took them away. Styles sent Jeff into the barricade. Kross then tries to convince Styles to go to his dark place and use the brass knuckles, but he goes against it and throws them away, then punches Kross. Styles attempts the phenomenal forearm, but Paul ducked and performed the lucky punch and the pulverizer on Styles to win the match at 17 minutes 50 seconds. This match I ranked 3.5 out of 5. This match never really got out of second gear. I just felt like something was really missing between these two. And I know a lot of people are saying Logan Paul is a complete tool, he's a prick, but the guy puts in the work. And a lot of people are saying that AJ Styles lost to a YouTuber, and some will agree with that, and a lot of people are not going to care if Logan Paul really put in the work. It's like, oh, he's just a part-timer, that's just who he is. But we got what we got, and the match was just okay. The penultimate match was the third of 4 championships, as WWE Women's Tag Team Championship was on the line, as Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defended the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship against what was supposed to be the original team of Laura Vicaria and Bayley. So we have another match that was changed, only this time, out of the 3 matches, 2 of the matches I mentioned earlier were changed because both participants in each of the matches were hurt. As for Bayley, she was not hurt. She was asked, this was actually planned, that Bayley was going to team up with Laura Vicaria in WrestleMania, only to have a storyline injury to keep her out. Vicaria had 24 hours to find a replacement, and her new tag team partner was revealed to be none other than the returning Becky Lynch. The last time we saw Becky Lynch, she had wrestled against Liv Morgan. Morgan Rodriguez dominated Vicaria until Lynch was tagged in. Lynch applied to disarm her on Morgan, but Rodriguez broke up the submission. Lynch sent Rodriguez out of the ring, and Morgan performed the Oblivion on Lynch, but Vicaria broke up the pin. Vicaria performed a tornado DDT on Rodriguez on the outside, keeping her out for good. Lynch performed a manhandle slam on Morgan to win the title for herself and Vicaria at 8 minutes 40 seconds. I give the match 3.5 out of 5. Here's my problem with this match. While it was cool to see Becky Lynch come back, it came at the expense of basically 4 wrestlers. One who didn't even compete, her WrestleMania spot was taken away, and she got replaced by Becky Lynch. As for Vicaria, she came in as the WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion, and she did not get any very good offense. As for the former champions, Morgan and Rodriguez, they basically had to keel over to give the tag team titles. And speaking of the women's tag team championships, here's a spoiler alert. Valkyria and Lynch defended their newly crowned tag team titles against the team of Morgan and Rodriguez, and in a shock move, they ended up losing the titles in one day. They didn't get a chance to enjoy it. This caused Lynch to turn on Valkyria, and she went completely nuts on her. I found out that this whole idea was all Becky's idea. You know, come in, take Bayley's place, win the tag team titles, only to lose it the next night and turn on Valkyria. It's more likely Lynch will probably challenge Valkyria for the Intercontinental title. Before the main event, Stone Cold Steve Austin arrived in his four-wheeler to announce the attendance of both nights 1, nights 2, and the combined nights. Bit of a misfire by Austin. He was riding his four-wheeler a little too fast, and he accidentally hit the side wall, and it caused a fan to fall down. 6 matches in the books. We have come to the main event of night 2, and it is the 4th and final championship match of the night. The main event is for the undisputed WWE Championship, as the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes defends the WWE Undisputed Championship against John Cena. Boy, how did we get here? At Money in the Bank in 2024, John Cena revealed that he would retire from professional wrestling at the end of 2025, and also announced that he would compete at Wrestlemania 41. After losing the men's Royal Rumble match at the event, Cena entered himself into the men's Elimination Chamber match for one last chance to challenge for a World Championship match at Wrestlemania 41. He also stated that main eventing his last Wrestlemania, becoming a record 17-time WWE World Champion, would be best for business. Also around this time, TKO board member Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson tried to bribe Cody Rhodes to be his corporate champion, claiming that they had become friends following a clash at the prior year's WrestleMania 40, that he could elevate Rhodes' career. Well, during the Elimination Chamber, Cena won the match, earning a title match against Rhodes at WrestleMania. Following the match, Rhodes appeared to congratulate Cena, followed by The Rock to get Rhodes' answer to his offer. Rhodes declined, and Cena embraced Rhodes. However, in a move I don't think anyone saw, Cena then viciously attacked Rhodes, siding with The Rock, turning heel for the first time since 2003. That's a long time to be playing babyface. In the following weeks, Cena berated the audience, claiming they had mistreated him for the last 20 plus years, and that he turned on Rhodes because he was disgusted by him. Cena also claimed that if they won the title, he would also retire with it. Now I want to talk about Cena's entrance. Normally, it's very colorful. It's something exciting. You'd always see his mantras: hustle, loyalty, respect, you can't see me, rise above hate. Not this night. When Cena's music hit, it was nothing but black and white. Cena usually comes out with a smile on his face, glad to be wrestling a match. Not tonight. He came out with a skull on his face. He's not celebrating. He's not happy. He just comes out angry, disgusted. This, I'm going to be honest, this is a Cena that should have happened maybe 10 years ago. It's actually, we were finally getting the Cena that we kind of needed that could have happened 10, 15 years ago. But, here we are. He's in his final year of playing the heel, and it's actually a really good move by him. Cena performed a tornado DDT on Rhodes for a near fall. Rhodes performed a power slam, a disaster kick, and a coda cutter on Cena for a near fall. Cena encountered a bionic elbow attempt, performing an attitude adjustment on Rhodes just to get a near 3-fall attempt. Rhodes countered an attitude adjustment attempt by Cena into a roll-up for a near fall. Cena performed a middle rope attitude adjustment on Rhodes. That gets a near fall. Cena leapt off the top rope, but Rhodes caught him with a powerbomb for another near fall. Rhodes performed a springboard coda cutter on Cena. Cena kicks out. Cena countered a crossroads attempt into another attitude adjustment and applied the STF. And Rhodes kicked Cena into the referee. Rhodes performed a crossroads on Cena, who didn't remove the top turnbuckle. Cena sent Rhodes to the top turnbuckle twice and performed a 4th attitude adjustment on Rhodes, but that ended up becoming a near fall. Travis Scott then appears, and when Rhodes performed the crossroads on Cena, Scott pulled the referee out of the ring. Rhodes goads Scott to come in to the ring, and he performs a crossroads, and when Cena attempted to strike Rhodes with the title belt, Rhodes blocked it and took it. Rhodes hesitated, trying to decide to hit Cena with the title or not, he chooses not to. They gave Cena the opportunity to hit a low blow on Rhodes and strike Rhodes in the head with the title belt to win the match and his record 17th World Championship match at 21 minutes 40 seconds. John Cena has broken Ric Flair's record, which was at 16, and John Cena is on top of the world. As for the match, it is 2 out of 5. This was a really weak main event. I mean, I understand that Cena turning heel was a bad thing. You know, he turned his back on the fans. He's doing the wrong thing. He's cheating to be on top of the world. But the way he did it was so lackluster. It just, and they could have done so much better in this. And the fact that The Rock never made an appearance. I mean, he just, after the Elimination Chamber, he just disappeared. Only Travis Scott came, and everyone was like, Travis Scott is okay. But The Rock, for him not to make an appearance, that really killed the mood. Yes, Cena got his 17th title win, but this was so lackluster. And of course, the night ends with Cena holding up the title, and as he's leaving, he actually wears the title backwards to show, I guess, to show the fans that I'm on top of the world now. Screw you, and he just leaves. And that's how WrestleMania 41 ends. WrestleMania 41, how am I gonna put this? For the first night, it has some really top-notch matches. And second night, I think it started off well, and then it slowly dipped. Night 1 was cool. Night 2 kind of started off well, and it just died. It just kept dying. I say it's a bit of a step down from last year's because last year's WrestleMania was bonkers as hell, especially with last year's main event. This year's main event for night 2, boy, it was a downer. My final grade for night 1 is 4 out of 5, and I think night 1 was a better night than night 2 because I give night 2 a 3.5 out of 5. And my final grade for the entire show, 3.5 out of 5. Night 2 kind of killed it for me a little bit. Best match for night 1 was that main event, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Big match, crazy match, insane match. As for the worst match for night 1, it was the War Raiders against the New Day. The match was fine, it was just that there was hardly any build and the fans just weren't invested into it. As for night 2, the best match was another triple threat. It was the opener, Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair for the Women's World Heavyweight title match. Great opener, great triple threat for all 3 women. All 3 women did an amazing job and they deserve their respect. Worst match of night 2 is Cody Rhodes and John Cena. I mean, terrible ending. But that's my opinion. That was my review of WrestleMania 41. So what do you guys think about what happened on the show? Did you guys think night 1 was good, night 2 was good or bad? The whole show, what you think about the whole show? Like, comment, subscribe on my channel. And I see you soon. Peace out.